Preparing live stream. Mm.
Should I open
Well,
my chat box, you guys, or
what's
not?
no, it's fine. We're just going. That's okay. Welcome back to New Realities. I'm Ellen Steinfeld here with my good friend Suzanne Ross, and you can see we are tuning to another guest speaker at the Sedona Ascension Retreat happening March 14th to the 25th. Anything else you want to say about? I mean, so much to say about this, Suzanne, but
Right, we have so much to do here at this retreat, which is our 10th anniversary celebration, celebrating a new humanity uniting and a new earth arising. Of course, we have the onstage presentations, Alan, with Bashar and William Henry, Robert Edward Grant, Sarah Bressman Cosme, and so many more. But we also have the outdoor journeys, indoor workshops, and Ascension stage presentation. So every day, we have a 3 hour break to visit vendors, to visit the food vendors and the retail vendors, but also to attend workshops and Ascension stage presentations. So I'm really excited that we have many more presenters other than just what you're seeing on this flyer for the main stage. So it's very exciting that there's so much to do, Alan.
well, and especially the presenter we're talking to today, Oracle Maureen. Thank you, Maureen. Maureen's also going to be this weekend, if you're looking at this live, February 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Conscious Life Expo in LA at the LAX Hilton. So you're busy like all of us. So let's talk about though, let's focus on the Ascension retreat, and you're an Ascension expert. Is that true, Maureen? Or
I don't know if I'd say an Ascension expert. Master level channeler would probably be the expert. I work for the four top ascended masters who have clearly given me a lot of enlightenment over the last many years on the importance of focusing on our ascension process. So I would
uh,
maybe, yeah.
what do the masters want us to know at this point? Because we're at this huge shift, turning point in history, and so much is happening. So, what kind of messages are you getting from the masters, the ascended masters?
So working for Jesus, Kuan Yin, Mary, and Buddha, what they want us to know and understand in this very, we'll call it turbulent time in our history in our nation right now, where there's clearly such a blatant push and pull. They keep giving me visions of God is holding up a mirror to every single one of his beings here and reflecting back onto them where they are in their ascension process with their positions on choosing Trump and the harm that Trump really did commit, or choosing to turn a blind eye to it, excuse it, deny it. They keep showing me again and again. The reality is, it's yet another test that his beings are being put through in order to help them evolve. The ascension process right now is, we'll call it at a very advanced level, given this political climate that we're in right now.
So, what do we need to do? What should we do,
This is
humans? Yeah.
what we should do. The test here being put in front of all of his beings is always to choose the choices that are only under the umbrella of honesty and to choose your ethics. It's not to choose someone who can make your savings account bigger, open up doors for business, career opportunities. It's a blatant test on your ethics, where you are and what you're willing to choose. And if you're willing to sacrifice your ethics and your honesty level in order to gain a materialism, which is money, which is opportunity, which is pulling you away from your level of enlightenment. God
Mm.
wants to remind all of his children we are here going through all of our lessons, our tests, our classrooms, and as many incarnations that we have to complete in order until we finally achieve what they call total enlightenment, which the four ascended masters have attained so long ago. They no longer, along with all the other spirit guides and angels, ever have to come here, incarnate, and go through this difficult classroom. Their goal, the ascended masters and God, is to get us to that level of evolution with our soul, which is to attain total enlightenment. In order to attain total enlightenment and finally be released from having to incarnate on the difficult dimension of Earth, our honesty level, and our choices that fall under holding virtues, not opportunistic motives, is the only path that's going to get you up that ascension. Jesus will show it to me many times, staircase that will get you up that ascension staircase and get you closer to heaven in your afterlife, and then ultimately through that doorway through heaven, and then ultimately released from having to come back here years later. So it's at an advanced test right now.
I love that you brought that up about politics. And it was interesting because yesterday we were talking about uniting spirituality and religion and the role that that plays. And, today that you're bringing up the topic of politics and the leader of our country, because I really do believe that everyone has a very special role to play, an important role to play. And I love that you can, find that purpose for who has been chosen and the way that that will inspire a higher way of living and being for those who are able to learn the lessons through who has been chosen. Because the goal is clearly unity, regardless of anyone's religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs, political beliefs. You know what I mean? It's all about the unity. But if we can see the role everyone has come here to play and see it as part of the ascension process, then I think we're really advancing on our evolutionary path. Would you agree?
I would agree. And to add to that, Suzanne, it would be as a collective group, us all being here together in this incarnation right now. Look at us like we're all students when we're here together and as a collective group. What the Ascended Masters have also taught me is one of our goals as the collective group, independent from our own individual paths that we've charted for ourselves to attain enlightenment, to go through our ascension process, is to live with unity, is to live with harmony, is to live amongst each other, having our differences, ethnicities, size, shape, color, different opinions, likes, dislikes, and be able to live accepting other people's differences in a peaceful, serene manner and never resorting to the violence, also the competition. So the unity, the harmony it's only what exists in heaven. And until we can achieve that here, it's going to be a hurdle for those people that can't accomplish it here. They have shown me they won't be allowed there full time until they achieve it and prove it in God's eyes and Jesus's eyes here. So when I say it's a test, no, it's a really direct test, not like a symbolic word I'm using, test. And as a collective group, we're here to tolerate, accept, help, which also means using care and compassion, all of those virtues as we go through experiencing our incarnation with our other students here during the incarnation, whenever we come here with our group and use those virtues. It's the only way we'll attain the unity and the harmony, which ultimately is the only way that lends to peace and then lends to love.
Transcending separation. Isn't that really what it's all about? Anything that creates.
Yes, separation. That's good to put it. I love that. Yeah.
Now, I have a question because you're a medium too. So what's the relationship between the ascension process and, the people on the other side, the mediumship? How does that all fit together? What's going to happen to that level of the astral as the ascension goes on and everything that's involved?
I love that question, Alan, because it's such a different area of being able to serve heaven and earth. And what they've taught me over the years when they first guided me strongly when I was fighting and resisting to do the mediumship readings, especially the group mediumship readings. Until I'm out of my body, I'm actually really shy. Once they push my soul out and they're in me, then I'm in a really highly advanced trance state that I'm not nervous anymore. What they taught me over the years to help me value it and to tolerate my discomfort till they finally push me out, which is about the ultimate push, 5 or 10 minutes kind of into a session, or even a private session, is the desire that God has, as well as the Ascended Masters, that they want everyone here to have full clarity and understanding that their loved ones, as well as their beloved animals, do go to an afterlife once they leave their incarnation. And then to link that down to that means you will go to an afterlife when you leave your incarnation here. So they've had me work very actively as a medium. And it's not just to give the validations that mom's with you, your son is around you. It's to keep reinforcing and proving again and again that our souls are eternal, that we don't just have one lifetime burnout, get to do whatever we want, party's over, drop the mic, we're out with no consequences. Far from it. We take with us whatever we created here. And there is an afterlife that is just as active, if not more, than what we experience here. And it's to put those pieces of the puzzle together for them, for heaven, for us here, because we're in a highly amnesic state.
But with the ascension, what happens to the relationship of humans to the afterlife? And is there's a merging of some sort, I feel, happening on that level.
What happens with the humans, with the ascension process?
Our relationship to the afterlife as the ascension process really comes on and we're moving to a different dimensional reality. What happens to that whole connection? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So we continue to ascend every minute of every day for our entire soul's existence, which is what Jesus has told me multiple times, at an eternal state. When we reach our afterlife, we continue to ascend. We go into the dimension in our afterlife that we have earned and achieved here, and we continue on the other side in our afterlife to work on continuing to achieve a higher level in our ascension process. The goal is to never stop thinking that you've actually reached the end goal, the highest level of your ascension process, until you finally have reached total enlightenment, like these four ascended masters and the other ascended masters and the other spirit guides, and are no longer deemed having to come to earth to continue to learn how to evolve your ethics to get to the level of honesty and purity. So it's constantly a push-pull, an up-down process is what it is. And they've shown me people either go up or they fall from God's grace and they go down. They go up that staircase or they fall back down that staircase. So it's continuing to seek the highest level of enlightenment so that we get to exist in a much closer state of connectivity and the most connectivity to source of life, the divine one, God. So our soul's desire is to actually get back home to the one who ultimately created us, which is God. Also use the word creator, source of life. Our ascension process is the only way we can attain that goal. So we continue doing everything here, working in our afterlife in whatever level they put us in our afterlife.
So I've heard a thing about this ascension that's unique in that in order to ascend at this time, we don't have to leave our body, that we can make the ascension process in our physical bodies, which will be transforming, some say, from a carbon-based being to a silicon light being or a crystalline light being, right? And so what have the Ascended Masters told you about that?
What they show me, and they've actually shown me this since the first year when they came to me, called upon me, activated me, they would bring my soul out of my body a lot at nighttime, the astral travel, but it would be up with them and they would be coaching me, teaching me, guiding me, preparing me to work for them here. I would have the same experiences when I would do meditations. It would happen any time of day or night. They taught me to look at it more like that. The more they would come to me, though. I wasn't invoking and I wasn't asking for it. To be honest, I was trying to push it all away for a really good 2 hard years. which is also why they came to me more that first year to get me to not make that mistake that I would have lived to regret, because it is what I signed my contract to do and be, to serve them here. It isn't as simple as just thinking you're crystalline, just thinking your energy. Our souls are energy. Our souls are complete high vibrational rays of what God has shown me, rainbow light that comes from his rainbow light. But we are trapped in the vehicle of the human body. We get the gift of being allowed to leave our limited human state typically when they call upon us, but we also can astral travel on our own, which I do that a lot, not willing it, just it happens. But there's not teaching involved in that. I'll just end up somewhere. Most of the time, if there's going to be we'll call it a meaningful experience, it's only because they pulled me up and want me to have a meeting with them. They want to teach me something in order to do a better job for them and to help mankind. So we do continue to work on our ascension process. Our souls do, while we are in the limited body. And what they're telling me is the more you're willing to work and the more you're aware of this, the more you can ask your guides and angels to help you with your ascension process, or you can ask them to help you with whatever it is you want help with. So versus those that live dim and blind and don't want any kind of enlightenment, they're not going to be getting as much help from their guides and angels or the ascended masters when they could have been all along. They're just stuck living in the physical dimension, doing the physical activities. So we can and we should. When I do long meditations, it doesn't take long, especially when I'm doing the rosary, where Jesus will take me and just pull me right up out of my body, and I'll be in a full-on visitation, but teaching experience with him. So I've kind of put pieces together over the years, going, oh, okay, when I do things that they asked me to do, that they like, which is longer meditations, certain prayers, longer prayers, I'm rewarded with more enlightenment from him, from them. When I recognized that, then I opened myself up more to asking more questions. And then I'd find a lot of my questions would get answered over time. That's what people can learn from this versus the ones that want to just live like this. They don't have to, and it's going to be a mistake. They won't be as high up on that staircase to heaven in their ascension process as those that are working actively to try to evolve themselves.
Right. Right. So do you have any predictions? I know lots of people say there's things coming, UFOs, flashes of light, the other means of transformation. Do you get anything like that? I mean, if you share.
Yeah. I get right now, like I shared with you earlier, the biggest thing right now is this mirror that is blatantly being held in front of every single person in terms of what are they going to choose. And it's being done as a collective group with who our president is, who chose our president, the reasons they chose our president, and how we're going to now handle all of the obstacles and challenges that we already have been handed and are going to continue to be handed. There's going to be moments where people are going to be struck down and be very vulnerable, like they have been with the natural disasters, with the terrorists, to humble them in order to teach them that there truly is a higher power. And he does go by the name of God, God Almighty, Creator, Source of Life, the Divine One. Whatever name you embrace, although he chooses the name that he has given us, he is humbling his beings and helping bring them back to his greatness and his presence here on earth, because so many people have turned away from accepting that and believing that anymore. The UFOs, the extraterrestrials, there's positive and there's negative. I have been shown that there will be more visitations from the extraterrestrials, not just the positives, but also the negatives. Again, to show how vulnerable we actually are and that we need our connection to source of life for protection, for guidance, for wisdom, under all of the circumstances where we can and do get hit with tragedy, suffering, pain, misery. So there is a kind of a breaking down of arrogance and a lot of tests that people are going to be facing that will be putting them in humbling states, just like COVID did. And the intention is to teach them to let God back into and Jesus, their mind, their heart, their being, and accept there really is a divine order, there is a divine will, and living from your ego and your own self-serving desires will only be a mistake for you. And he's going to teach us it this way, teach us that way. So it's going to be much less mainstream in some ways, which to me also means they'll be more fascinating, the positive part. It's also going to be a lot more difficult part, though, with the problems that the political climate is creating for us. So we're going to be more on a roller coaster on a couple different levels.
Right, right. No, that makes sense. What about activating the divinity in all of us? Is how does that fit into like that big
Absolutely.
picture?
Absolutely. Think when I was resisting claiming and embracing master level channeler, and the deadline to put it on my business cards was there, and my graphic designer was pressuring me, Maureen, make a decision. Maureen, I can't do it. I'd heard it for several weeks from multiple of my spirit guides and angels, and I just froze. I'm like, they're gonna just think I'm a freak now. Like this is enough. Now I gotta say that. When I froze, I asked them one more time, can I ask one more time more validation for? I got silenced this one night and I went, oh, okay, push them too hard. They're only allowed to typically answer us. They told me once, twice if we're lucky. Rarely do they answer us a third time when we ask them questions. I get silenced. I feel bad. And all of a sudden, I was sitting in my bed watching TV at 10 o'clock at night. This burst of energy came right in my stomach, my core, and it felt like so blissful. And it kept filling up all the way up to my heart, and then it went all the way up to my head, and then it went all the way through my body. And I'm laying there, and all of a sudden, my third eye got activated, and I saw this huge globe of white light over me with this big blue background. And the energy kept filling me up until I physically couldn't feel my bed. I couldn't even feel where my arms and legs began and ended. And then God announced himself and he said, you are master channeler for the higher realms, born and created by me. And then the vision expanded to this huge river, ocean river of blue water underneath him, and little balls of white light fell up from underneath him. And I saw all these balls of white light float down this massive blue water, all independently from each other on their own path. And he said to me, I have created all of my beings to be very unique, special from one another. They're all created by me. You have been, your soul, born and created by me to serve the higher realms, the ascended masters, the archangels, as master level channeler for the higher realms. Own it. And the way he said it was like a father and a principal at a school. And at that point, when he was done, then he started giving me rays of rainbow light that started to surround the sphere of white light, him. And then I saw this rainbow lights go into me, into my core. At that point, I was so out of my body. He had pulled me up. I had felt the most exceptionally, you can't even put words into it, the highest level of vibrations of love I've ever felt. I couldn't even feel my physical body. That was when he taught me we're all created from his source of being, his energy, his light. That divinity inside of you, Alan, is really, you can call it your God essence, the part of your soul that came from the creation that God created your soul to be, which is part of him. So what you can do to activate your divinity in you, which is your soul's essence, which is a vibration of God's energy, love, and vibration. Is to work on developing a stronger connection to him. The stronger your connection is to source of life, the more love he'll send to you, the more wisdom, the more guidance, the more he brings you up closer to him. So the divinity in you is your God part, which is the heart of your soul.
But it's not a him. It's not really a gender. It's the source that's everything, right? I mean, it's not like a being, isn't it? All beings, or do you have your own understanding of that?
I can explain to you how he appears to me when he communicates to me. The number one thing is actually a huge rainbow. This is huge energetic rainbow. And after that experience, he gave me another one not long after, when I was floored by that one, and told me to look at me like this. I've got it written down in my notebook, so I'm gonna have to just see if they give me back to me. He put these huge rays of colorful, this is why I wear this rainbow ring. He gave me this rainbow ring on this ring finger. It's one of my commitment rings he gave to me and has required me to wear a rainbow ring here. Each colored ray, he would say a virtue behind it. And it was something like forgiveness, humility, patience, kindness, compassion, love. I remember there were seven. There were seven rays to his energy. And he put the seven rainbow rays around me after he changed from the sphere of white light and became the rainbow. He has shown me him in the form of energy like that, an energy in and around all of us, not taking a physical being. However, if you were to take the essence of his being, you would not take mother, father, God. You would not take the female. And he has corrected me about that he's seen that mistake happen and has asked me to speak up on that behalf. He is a father. He is to be referred to as a father, as your heavenly father, period, in a story. When he's come to me, and I can't even count how many visitations and visions, and he does want to depict himself as a being. He'll represent himself always as an older, distinguished, very classy younger grandfather figure. So he'll come through looking and taking the physical characters of a human, but always a grandfather, never a woman. The feminine parts are his two queens. It is Mother Mary and it is Kuan Yin. And that's just not of him, in the sense of being combined with him, but that's the role, that's the mother, that's the feminine part that he's actually given as part of his creation. It's not earth like people think it is, and he's not father, mother. He holds all the vibrations of what he's created, which is man, women, and animals. But he has been extremely firm with me. He is to be referred to and to be looked at as Father, Heavenly Father, period, in a story.
All right, that's your connection.
My experience, yeah.
Right.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Urantia book, Alan, which I refer to a lot in my book, Rise Up, because it's an incredible compendium of all of these higher beings channeled through this couple, where Source trinitizes, right, as the creator father, the creative mother, and the created son. And so, that does kind of go back to religion too. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, right? And so I also like that picture of Source trinitizing in order to create all of the worlds in a masculine and in a feminine way that ultimately creates the child, us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
thank you for that.
right. Yes, thank you. I'll just put myself in there too. So in Sedona, and a little bit in the conscious life, but Sedona, we're really focusing on the Sedona Ascension Retreat. What will you be doing? Tell everyone what your presentation will be about and what's going to really activate them.
I think I'm just doing readings, Suzanne. I think there wasn't a spot.
Yeah, she's got a table. And also at that table, she's going to be doing readings. So I'm so delighted you're also in the program guide, so people can click on the digital program guide and see your beautiful ad and find your website there. But definitely inviting everyone to Maureen's vendor table in the exhibitor hall. You can meet her and have a reading. I love that. And then maybe next year, since it sounds like you do teach workshops, we can add you to the workshop list of hosts.
So, but how do people like, okay, well, you're going to be at the expo, you're going to be at the retreat. How do people find you in general? I mean, and what do you do private readings online? I mean, talk about your work one-on-one.
Yeah, you can just go to oraclemaureen.com and find me there. I do teach classes. Right now, I've been having to withhold doing private readings. There's a waiting list right now. I just finished channeling 2 books, one for Kuan Yin, a prayer book, another book for Jesus. I'm finally done with the first draft to both of them. He had me shut the door in private readings, but I think he's getting ready to open them now. So I do private readings, do guided meditations. All of the proceeds from all of my work go donated to our charity. They asked me to start a charity for them back in 2013 called Angels Among Us Foundation. Kuan Yin named that. So they have me busy doing fundraisers. I have one coming up April in Newport at Pelican Hills. It's a golf tournament to help the elephants who are being tragically poached and killed and then abused from circuses. When I received this mission from God, he told me that because of these abuses, they're now endangered of becoming extinct. So being on call for them 24/7, they will send me whatever mission they want me to work on. The fundraisers are a big part of it.
Right. Great. And
Bless
people
you for doing that. I love that project, Maureen. That's so beautiful. Angels Among Us and the elephants.
Yeah.
Thank you.
website.
You can go to Angel Among Us Foundation to read under How Heaven Sees It, all the different causes they've given to me over the years. So it's kind of like this. You have people like the circuses hiding from humans that know that elephants really, as well as the other animals, are actually being abused so much more than what we realize. So you have God and the Ascended Masters calling it out to their oracle. And my job is to report it to the humans, which I do, and then hold fundraisers to help bring awareness to abuses being done to animals, children, also starvation happening in third world countries, and try to help open humans' eyes to not participate in these activities because it's going to get you negative karma with God. And also now knowing what's really happening, they're probably not going to really want to, not a highly ethical, compassionate person. And then also to inspire them to help raise funds with me, make the donations so that we can make a difference and help people who truly are in states of living in pain, misery, and suffering. So it's on all 3 levels. The How Heaven is fascinating, especially for someone spiritual, because you're going to read information that they keep from you, the whipping for horseback racing.
Wow. And well, thank you for that. And thank you for doing that work because I think elephants actually probably are from another whole planet. I mean, there's no evolution that is reflective of elephants on this planet. So I think they probably come here as messengers and beautiful beings to help us. But you're going to be how people can see you at the expo this weekend at the LAX Hilton. When are you speaking there?
Doing a free lecture group reading at I think 7 o'clock on Friday. Then I'm doing a panel, I think it's at 5 o'clock on Friday on psychic abilities. Then doing a workshop on Saturday at noon on how to open up your psychic channels and learn to do mediumship so you can connect with mom and dad and not ignore them when they show up in your kitchen or your living room. And then I'll be there doing readings in between.
Great. And of course, Oracle Maureen will be at the Sedona Ascension Retreat, March 14th to the 16th, 2025. Tickets at Sedona Ascension Retreats. Suzanne Ross here with me is producing that amazing event. Anything else you want to say about that, Suzanne? Oh,
Well,
here we
it's
go.
only 5 weeks away, Alan. So we're really getting down to it. I'm very busy ordering badges and vendor tables, getting everything in line for our 10th anniversary celebration. And I'm just really excited. Every year, we just seem to be getting bigger and better, Alan. And I love co-hosting with you on stage. We do have Kristen Hoffman performing this year. We didn't have last year, and some new faces and names this year that we didn't have last year as well. So it promises to be an exciting event full of all kinds of different activities that you can engage in. We just added a guided CE5 and UFO Skywatch on Thursday. Darryl Anka just added a workshop. One-day passes are now available. So
I can't
I'm very
post
excited.
the post. I don't know. It's not coming up on my screen, the poster for the event. Is it on
Oh,
your screen?
it is
Yeah.
on my screen. Do you see
No.
it, Maureen?
No, I don't see it.
Oh, okay. Well, something's going on, so I'll stop sharing. Sedona Ascension Retreats.com, and you can see the flyer there.
Try it again because it's because the spotlight was on you. I want people to see the poster because it's so
I'll
beautiful.
try again. How
And
about now?
mm,
No?
it's okay. I'll put it in.
Okay. Huh.
But
Isn't it interesting? Yeah.
so yes, there's incredible people coming besides Maureen. Bashar's doing an evening there, and Kristen Hoffman, Robert Edward Grant, William Henry. You added, thank you for adding JJ and Desiree Hurtak.
Yes.
They're doing something. It's a really Aaron Apke, who I really want to meet, and
And
so
Tucker.
Apollo. There's a lot of people coming together to activate, bring the next level to do what Maureen has outlined, this ascension process that we're all a part of. So it's on, game is on, right, Maureen? It's happening.
It's on. And it takes a lot of helpers. And if heaven can send us these helpers to keep raising the vibration here, it's only going to benefit all of us, especially those that are able and willing to receive the kind of help that the helpers and the teachers at the Ascension process can give. So it's a great opportunity for everybody to become more activated as well as to evolve more.
Yes, now is the time, the shift goes
Yeah.
down, touch in next year. We're on the way. So thank you today for being here. And of course, thank you, Suzanne. We're going to do more of these updates on the Ascension Retreat coming up in March. So get your tickets, ascensionretreats.com. So Sedona, ascensionretreats.com. Yes, the Sedona part's really key because it couldn't happen any other place. At least
Right. Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you, Maureen. I can't wait to meet you at Conscious Life Expo. Thank you.
thanks, and thank you. Thank everyone for watching. Subscribe, tell people about this, tell people about Maureen and all the other great speakers coming to all these events.